Welcome back to AGRON Info Tech. This is video 4 of the series, where we stop describing the population with simple summaries and we start modeling a real relationship using a survey-weighted regression. The question we answer is straightforward. How does BMI change with age and other factors in the population? Once we respect the NHANES sampling design, I begin by loading the packages. NHANES gives us the data set. Tidyverse helps with filtering and data preparation. Survey is the key package that knows how to handle strata, clusters, and weights, and broom helps convert model results into a clean table for reporting. Next, I set the lonely PSU option. Sometimes, after subsetting or missing values, a stratum can end up with only one sampling unit, and survey variance calculations can complain. This option tells the survey package to apply a standard adjustment, so our analysis remains stable instead of stopping with an error. Now I load the NHANESraw dataset and create a 4-year weight. NHANES provides a 2-year examination weight, and because we're treating this as a combined multi-year dataset for teaching, I scale it by half, so the population weighting stays consistent across the combined period. Now I build the survey design object. I pass the dataset as the data argument, so the design knows where the variables live. I set the strata argument to the strata identifier, so the variance estimation follows the stratified sampling. I set the ID argument to the PSU identifier, so the clustering is respected. I turn nesting on, so the PSUs are treated as nested properly within strata. Finally, I supply the weights argument, so each participant contributes to the estimates in proportion to the number of people they represent in the population. From this moment onward, all estimates and standard errors are design-aware. Next, I create a cleaner adult analytic subset. I restrict the analysis to participants aged 20 and above because adult BMI interpretation is more consistent. And this also avoids mixing child and adolescent patterns into the regression. When I print the subset design, R confirms we still have a stratified cluster sampling design, and it reports the number of clusters that remain in this adult subset. That confirmation is important because it tells us we did not accidentally drop the survey structure. Now I fit the survey-weighted regression model. I use BMI as the outcome, and I include age, gender, race, and physical activity because they're easy to interpret and they make a strong teaching example. I also tell the model to omit missing values, so the regression is fitted on complete cases for the variables in the model. When the model summary prints, the coefficients tell a clear story. The age coefficient is positive and statistically significant, meaning BMI increases slightly with age in this adult population, holding the other predictors constant. The gender effect for males is small here and not statistically convincing, which suggests that after controlling for age, race, and physical activity, the gender difference in BMI is not strong in this specific model. Several race categories show negative coefficients relative to the reference group, indicating lower average BMI than the reference group after adjustment, and the physical activity effect is clearly negative and highly significant, which means physically active adults tend to have lower BMI on average. The standard errors and p-values here are design correct, so they reflect the clustering and stratification of NHANES rather than pretending the sample is independent. Right after that, I create a tidy coefficient table with confidence intervals. This output is the same model, but in a format that is easier to show in a report or on screen. Now each term has an estimate, a standard error, a p-value, and a lower and upper confidence limit. For example, the age effect remains positive and physical activity remains strongly negative, with confidence intervals that stay away from 0, reinforcing that these relationships are stable in the population estimate. Now I fit a naive regression model for comparison. This model uses the same formula, but it ignores the survey design entirely. I filter the adult data in a normal data frame and fit a standard linear regression. When the summary prints, the coefficients look similar in direction for several variables, but the size and significance can change. The gender effect becomes much more negative and highly significant in the naive model, and the age effect becomes smaller than in the survey-weighted model. The naive model also reports standard errors as if all observations are independent, which often makes results look more certain than they truly are in complex survey data. It also reports an R-square value around 0.057, which tells us the model explains a modest portion of BMI variation. The key teaching point here is not which model looks better, but that ignoring the survey design can change both effect sizes and inference, especially for variables that interact with how the survey sampled the population. Now I move into a prediction demo using the survey-weighted model. I create a prediction grid by specifying a sequence of ages from 20 to 80, stepping by 5 years. I include 2 gender values so we can compare male and female predictions. Then I set race to a single category and physical activity to yes, so the plot represents a clear, fixed profile. This grid gives us a controlled way to visualize the model. Next, I generate predictions from the survey-weighted model and request standard errors along with the predicted values. In the return prediction output, we get a predicted value column and an uncertainty column. I merge those back into the prediction grid and compute a 95% confidence interval by taking the predicted value plus and minus roughly 2 standard errors. This gives us the band we will plot as the uncertainty ribbon. Now the plot appears. The x-axis is age, and the y-axis is predicted BMI from the survey-weighted regression. The 2 colored lines represent males and females for the same profile values of race and physical activity. The shaded ribbons around each line show the 95% confidence intervals, which summarize the uncertainty of the predicted mean BMI at each age. The main takeaway is that both lines rise as age increases, which matches the positive age coefficient we saw in the model output. The separation between the lines shows the model's estimated gender difference for this profile, and the amount of overlap between the ribbons reminds us to interpret small differences carefully because uncertainty matters. This plot is a great visual summary because it turns a regression table into a population-level story that viewers can understand immediately. At this point, you have a complete modeling workflow for complex survey data. You build the design, subset correctly, fit a survey-weighted regression, compare it to a naive model to see what design changes, and then communicate the results using predicted trends with confidence bands. In the next step of this project series, we can extend this model by changing the outcome to systolic blood pressure, adding interactions like age by physical activity, and creating publication-ready effect plots that summarize adjusted differences across multiple groups.